In the Straits of Hormuz today, tensions are rising faster than they have in years. Iran has test-fired a new naval air defense missile, the Sayyad-3G, a system designed to extend the defensive reach of its corvettes and smaller naval vessels. The announcement might sound like a technical footnote to some, but the implications for regional security and U.S. strategy are profound. The missile, while not hypersonic in the technical sense, represents a significant evolution in Iran's approach to area denial and naval defense. Its range, speed, and launch flexibility are carefully calculated to complicate any potential U.S. strike plans and exert influence over the delicate flow of oil through the Gulf. Iran claims that the Sayyad-3G can project a protective bubble of approximately 93 miles around the corvette from which it is launched. That would cover a significant swath of the narrow, strategic waters of the Straits of Hormuz, where nearly a fifth of the world's oil supply passes every day. This missile, when paired with overlapping coverage from multiple corvettes, is designed to create a layered air defense network capable of engaging U.S. jets, drones, and potentially other advanced surveillance platforms. Iran's messaging is clear. This is a signal, a statement that the Islamic Republic is serious about defending its coastline and maritime assets. The timing of this test is no accident. It coincides with a tight ultimatum from the U.S. administration, which has given Iran a 10 to 15-day window to reach a nuclear deal or face potential consequences. In response, Iran has mobilized 2 carrier strike groups in the region, deployed stealth fighters, and orchestrated the most significant military presence in the Gulf in over 2 decades. President Raisi has vowed publicly that Iran will not bow to U.S. pressure and has repeatedly threatened to close the Straits of Hormuz, signaling both resolve and deterrence. The Sayyad-3G missile is a visible extension of that posture, a tangible demonstration of Iran's growing capability to assert control over one of the most strategically important maritime chokepoints in the world. At the same time, Iran is preparing internally for contingencies. The country's supreme leader has instructed security officials, including Ali Larijani and other close political and military aides, to ensure the survival of the state in case of war or assassination. This move underscores the regime's acute awareness of both external threats and potential internal vulnerabilities. Analysts suggest that cracks may already be forming within the Iranian military, particularly in areas outside the IRGC, which remains ideologically radicalized. These fissures could influence Iran's decision-making in a crisis, but the full extent remains unclear. Protests across Iran, especially among students and young professionals, indicate widespread dissatisfaction with the regime, adding another layer of uncertainty to the geopolitical landscape. The Sayyad-3G itself is the naval adaptation of Iran's land-based Sayyad-3 system, first tested in 2026 with a range of approximately 75 miles. In its maritime configuration, Iran claims that vertical launch tubes on various corvettes and small naval vessels extend this range to around 93 miles. The missile is intended for deployment on platforms like the Shahid Sayyad Shirazi, a catamaran-style corvette of the Shahid Soleimani class. These vessels are fast, stealthy-ish, and armed with anti-ship missiles, designed for both rapid strikes and area denial operations. The Iranian Navy's drills in the Strait of Hormuz, which included layered air defense simulations, demonstrate a clear strategy: protect these vessels, complicate U.S. targeting, and assert dominance in narrow waters. From a technical standpoint, the Sayyad-3G is a solid-fuel, vertically launched surface-to-air missile, AK. While Iran claims hypersonic capability, open-source assessments suggest its top speed ranges from Mach 4.5 to Mach 5.5, placing it on the lower end of the hypersonic spectrum. True hypersonic flight requires sustained velocities above Mach 5, along with advanced maneuverability and heat-resistant materials. By these standards, the Sayyad-3G does not qualify as a fully hypersonic weapon. Nevertheless, its speed, combined with interception altitudes of 18 to 19 miles, makes it a credible threat to drones, manned aircraft, and even some cruise missiles operating in the region. While it lacks the technical sophistication of Russia's or China's hypersonic arsenals, it is sufficient to complicate U.S. operations in the Straits of Hormuz. Iran's approach is not solely about missile performance. The IRGC Navy envisions swarming tactics employing multiple corvettes and potentially unmanned drone vessels to saturate enemy defenses. Each platform could launch Sayyad-3G missiles, creating overlapping air defense zones that force U.S. aircraft to operate at extended distances or expend more countermeasures. Combined with decoy vessels and anti-ship cruise missiles from the NOR and Ghadir Qadara families, the Iranian Navy aims to create a multi-layered defense network that challenges even the most advanced U.S. strike packages. Anti-ship ballistic variants, such as the Kahir Fars derived from the Fateh 110, add another layer, offering long-range, high-speed targeting for strategic disruption. From a strategic perspective, Iran's message is deliberate. Any approach to the Strait of Hormuz will be contested. The regime seeks to convey both deterrence and leverage. By demonstrating the ability to threaten U.S. aircraft and potentially disrupt maritime traffic, Iran pressures both Washington and global markets. Oil prices respond in real time to the perception of risk, and the Sayyad-3G is as much a political instrument as it is a military one. The regime is attempting to maximize its bargaining power while showcasing its ability to project power in asymmetric warfare. Smaller, agile platforms with precision-guided munitions capable of threatening larger, technologically superior forces. Internally, Iran is also preparing for succession contingencies. The Supreme Leader's instructions to key political and military aides reflect a recognition that extreme pressure from the U.S. or miscalculation during escalating tensions could trigger a crisis. By ensuring a clear chain of authority, the regime aims to maintain cohesion during high-stakes confrontations. This dual strategy, combining outward military signaling with internal stability measures, illustrates the complex interplay between deterrence, regime survival, and strategic negotiation. The operational impact of the Sayyad-3G extends beyond technical specifications. Its deployment alters U.S. tactical calculations in the region. Carrier strike groups, while formidable, must now consider the effective engagement envelope of these missiles, adjusting operational standoff distances and employing extensive electronic warfare measures to protect aircraft and drones. Aegis-equipped destroyers, growlers, and joint air-to-surface standoff missiles will likely serve as primary countermeasures. But Iran's layered air defenses and potential mine-laying operations complicate the planning calculus. Every sortie, every patrol, and every radar sweep becomes a high-stakes exercise in risk management, situational awareness, and rapid decision-making. Looking at the broader picture, the Sayyad-3G highlights Iran's evolving naval doctrine. Rather than competing with U.S. carriers on an equal technological footing, the regime is pursuing asymmetric naval power, a combination of speed, stealth, missile capability, and swarming tactics designed to maximize deterrence while minimizing exposure. Smaller, fast vessels are harder to target, more numerous, and more difficult to suppress with traditional strike packages. By layering air defenses, integrating anti-ship missiles, and leveraging unmanned platforms, Iran seeks to create a credible defensive umbrella that complicates any potential escalation scenario. The geopolitical context intensifies the stakes. U.S. pressure, including the deployment of carriers and stealth fighters, aims to force Iran to the negotiating table over nuclear commitments. Yet Iran's simultaneous military displays signal a refusal to capitulate. The regime is conveying that while it is open to talks, it will not do so under duress that threatens core strategic interests. This interplay of coercion, signaling, and negotiation reflects a sophisticated understanding of modern crisis management, where perception, capability, and timing are as critical as the weapons themselves. In a hypothetical escalation, imagine Iranian fast boats advancing toward a U.S. carrier strike group in the Gulf. Missiles are fired, drones engage, and Aegis systems react with defensive measures. Mines may be deployed, forcing carriers to reroute. The Sayyad-3G's coverage and swarming tactics force the U.S. to operate at extended standoff ranges, expend electronic warfare resources, and manage complex targeting challenges in confined waters. Even without full-scale conflict, the potential for miscalculation is high, underscoring the strategic value of Iran's new systems in shaping both military and diplomatic outcomes. The human dimension remains central. Iranian citizens, particularly the younger and educated population, continue to protest and demand political reforms. These internal pressures intersect with external military posturing, creating a volatile environment in which the regime must balance survival with strategic signaling. The international community watches closely, recognizing that missteps could have wide-reaching economic, humanitarian, and security consequences. Ultimately, the Sayyad-3G represents more than a missile. It symbolizes Iran's broader approach to modern warfare, combining asymmetric tactics, layered defenses, and political signaling. Its deployment coincides with nuclear negotiations, internal succession planning, and the potential for U.S. military escalation, making the Gulf region a focal point for global attention. For analysts, policymakers, and military planners, understanding the capabilities, limitations, and strategic intent behind systems like the Sayyad-3G is critical for anticipating both crisis scenarios and avenues for de-escalation. Iran's actions underscore a central truth in modern conflict. Technological sophistication, speed, and maneuverability matter, but so does strategic narrative. By demonstrating capability and resolve, Iran seeks to shape perception as much as reality. Its goal is to complicate adversary planning, secure negotiating leverage, and project influence over one of the world's most critical maritime choke points. The Sayyad-3G, while imperfect, achieves this objective effectively. As we watch developments unfold in the Straits of Hormuz, several questions remain. Will the missile's deployment deter U.S. strikes or invite preemptive action? How will internal Iranian dissent influence decision-making in high-stakes scenarios? What role will global markets play as oil flow and shipping security are threatened? And crucially, can diplomacy leverage these tensions into meaningful agreements, or will escalation spiral further? The answers will shape the strategic landscape of the Gulf for years to come. The Sayyad-3G test and Iran's broader naval activities represent a significant evolution in maritime strategy, asymmetric warfare, and geopolitical signaling. The missile, deployed from agile corvettes, layered with multiple defense systems, and timed against U.S. pressure in nuclear negotiations, illustrates the intersection of capability, perception, and strategy. While technical limitations remain, the system's operational implications are real, forcing recalibration of U.S. tactics and emphasizing the complex dynamics of modern Gulf security. The coming weeks and months will be decisive, highlighting the importance of careful monitoring, strategic foresight, and the delicate balance between coercion, deterrence, and negotiation in this highly contested region.